Happy Sunday, everybody. Meteorologist Hunter Forst here. I hope you've been having a good Sunday. You know, it started off warm. We were in the 60s. It was cloudy, but overall, it was kind of a nice start to the day. I was able to get outside, go for a nice walk, but we're going to see some changes over the next couple of hours. And right now, you know, we're seeing a line of storms moving through the area. Luckily, none of those storms are severe, but bringing some heavy rain. We do have a weather impact alert through Monday morning for the chance to see severe storms, heavy rain. So it's just one of those days where you want to stay close to the forecast. Flooding, of course, is a concern. You know, there's a chance we could see, you know, some training in a few areas, which just means that the same line of storms is going over the same area over and over and over. So that just, you know, makes those rain totals just that much higher. Again, we have the chance to see some severe storms. Here's the severe area, you know, throughout the rest of the day today. It goes all the way from New York all the way down into central Florida. Now, our risk is a level 2 risk out of a level 5. So it's a little bit more on the lower end, still a risk to see some severe storms, but nothing like the South was seeing over the last couple of days. You know, a chance to see a few scattered severe storms. Can't rule out an isolated tornado or two, but overall, those chances are rather low. Flooding right now, again, is more of a concern, especially if we see some of that training. Here's the system out there right now. It's a big one. It's a long cold front extending all the way from northern New York down into Florida. We have a couple watches out there right now, a tornado watch in areas of Pennsylvania, down into West Virginia, portions of Maryland and northern Virginia. Right now, our area is not seeing any watches, so some good news there. That could change. We could definitely see, you know, a tornado watch, a severe thunderstorm watch issued. But for right now, there are no watches except for a flood watch. Seeing some severe storms in New York and Pennsylvania. They had a few tornado warnings, actually, in Pennsylvania earlier this afternoon. We had a few severe thunderstorms just to the west of 95, but as that line kind of came closer to our area, those severe storms or those warnings were dropped. And right now, the storms that are moving through right now, just bringing, you know, some heavier rain. Not seeing a ton of lightning with these storms, so that's some good news there. Seeing a little bit just right around Ivor, Gloversville, seeing a little bit of lightning, but you'll notice there was a downtick in lightning over the last couple of hours. So that kind of gives you an idea that these storms, you know, aren't really getting much stronger. If anything, they're getting a little bit weaker right now, but we still have the rest of the day to go into the overnight hours. We're going to see more storms and rain heading into the area. This is kind of just the first initial line heading into our area. There is a flood advisory just to the south of us around Roanoke Rapids and Rocky Mount. We definitely have a chance to see that here in the Hampton Roads area, whether it's a flood advisory or a flood warning. Because again, we're going to see a good amount of rain as we go throughout the night tonight. Right now, we're seeing some heavier downpours right around Williamsburg, Carsley, right over Wakefield, heading into Franklin. You guys having a little bit of a break right now. And that's kind of what we'll see over the next couple of hours, more on and off, heavier downpours. You know, maybe over the next couple of hours, it's not going to be constantly raining where you are, but you have the chance to see, you know, those on and off heavier downpours. Right now, we're dry, you know, closer to the coast, but this line is eventually moving really into portions of the south side, Elizabeth City, you know, rather soon. We have some heavier downpours down to the south around Rocky Mount, but again, none of these storms or anywhere on this line is severe. So that's some good news there. Over the last couple of hours, though, I just wanted to show you over the last 24 hours or so, the storm reports left behind from the same system. That's heading in our direction right now. A ton of storm reports from Florida, from South Florida, all the way up into New York, Michigan, into Illinois and Wisconsin. Actually, some snow reports over there because behind the front over there, it is cold, but a ton of tornadoes yesterday, or a good amount of tornadoes yesterday in portions of Mississippi and Alabama. But there were a lot more tornado reports the day before in areas around Arkansas, Missouri, even Metro St. Louis, seeing a few tornadoes out there as well. But just some devastating damage, unfortunately, for a lot of these people in the Deep South. Definitely a really hard thing to see, and it's definitely going to take a while for a few of these people to recover because of how devastating this damage was. But again, as this system heads in our direction, it's not going to be nearly as severe. Chance to see a few severe storms, gusty winds within the storms, 50, maybe 60 miles per hour, isolated tornado, but not going to be like those long-lived big tornadoes that they were seeing down there. More likely, if we were to see one, a quick little spin up. Here are the wind and flood reports over the last day or so. Also a ton. Seeing gusts, 50, 60 miles per hour in a lot of areas, a lot of flooding, trees down, power out. So definitely it's been a potent system over the last couple of days. Here's a look at the Futurecast over the next couple of hours. So we have the initial line kind of moving through right now, giving us on and off heavier downpours over the next couple of hours. But you'll notice there's another line off towards the west. And once we get to about 8, 9 o'clock, they kind of start conjoining a bit, merging. And that's when we really get the heavier rain and more consistent rain into the area. And that's where it really stays through the night into our Monday morning. So 10, 11 o'clock, seeing heavy downpours, especially in areas around the south side, the eastern shore. And you'll notice it's going over the same areas over and over overnight into Monday morning. And then by about 7, 8 o'clock, it kind of starts to wind down a bit. And things are looking a bit better by the time we get into Monday afternoon. Maybe a few lingering showers. But if you have any St. Paddy's Day plans for the afternoon, things will be looking a bit better. It'll be cooler, but it will be better. Here's a closer look at it, closer in on the Futurecast. So again, over the next couple of hours, we see some of those on and off heavier downpours. Then we see more of that second line coming in from the west, kind of meeting up with the first one a bit. And then again, 8, 9 o'clock, that's when the heaviest rain really comes and lingers in throughout the night. So you'll notice from Norfolk down into Suffolk, Murfreesboro, those really dark reds, definitely could see, heavy downpours, possibly, severe storms embedded in this line. So throughout the night, just something you want to make sure you have a way to get alerts just in case a warning is issued for your area. If you're a heavy sleeper, if you go to bed early, make sure your phone, is on loud throughout the night tonight, just in case a warning is issued. But again, you'll notice Norfolk, Suffolk, Murfreesboro, around that area, the same dark reds go over and over that area. So that's kind of like training where, the same storm or the same line is going over the same areas, and that's what makes those rain totals much higher. So that's why we do have a flood watch in effect for portions of the south side and into the peninsula as well. So it kind of stays like that heading into midnight. So, between 8 into midnight, 1, 2, 3 o'clock in the morning, seeing some heavy rain. 4 o'clock, you kind of see that heavier rain shift a little bit further down to the south, Elizabeth City, Virginia Beach, Manio. But then it continues to push off the coast, still seeing some lingering showers earlier in the morning, 6, 7 o'clock. And then on and off showers mid-morning, and then by late morning, some lighter showers. When things get progressively better by mid to late morning. A cloudy end to the morning, a cloudy start to the afternoon, but things are looking better. We're in the upper 50s, low 60s in a few areas. But again, we'll see that north wind and temperatures will kind of drop throughout the day and not really getting much higher than where we land in the morning. And then by 3:30 in the afternoon, we're in the mid-50s. Again, a few isolated showers are possible, especially further south around Manio. And then as we head into the evening, the skies finally start to clear. And then we drop back down into the upper 40s and low 50s for a lot of us. So here's that flood watch in effect for portions of the south side over to Franklin around 95. Williamsburg, so portions of the peninsula, Hampton, Newport News, Virginia Beach, Chesapeake, Suffolk. You guys are all in this flood watch. You'll notice it doesn't extend down into eastern North Carolina or into the northern neck or the eastern shore. But remember when I was talking about that training over, Suffolk, Chesapeake, Norfolk, That's why you guys have this flood watch. And again, you can see, possibly up to 4 inches of rain. Here's a look at the Futurecast rainfall. This is the graph model. Again, seeing 2 to 4 inches from Ahoskie, Franklin up to Wakefield, Chesapeake, Virginia Beach. Right now, Norfolk is saying 4 to 6 inches, but you never know, because if you're getting heavy downpours for long periods of time, you could get 4 or 5 inches of rain once this system is all said and done. But you'll notice up towards the north, those rain totals are a bit lower. Down to the south, those totals are a bit lower. So Elizabeth City, Edenton, 1 to 2 inches for you guys. Up to Newport News, West Point, 1 to 2 inches. Up around Tappahannock as well. Emporia, 1 to 2 inches. So kind of like the hot spot, the sweet spot for the heaviest rain, and areas for to see likely flood, or a chance to see some flooding, would be areas around the south side where you're seeing some of that rain. Here's a look at the rainfall potential again for the GFS model. Similar, just the main difference is the Norfolk totals are down a bit from the last one, but still 2 to 4 inches in the similar areas. So that just gives us, better confidence that that's going to kind of be the main spot where you'll see the heaviest rain. And if there is flooding, that's where you would likely see it. Lake Charles or Cape Charles, Melfa, 2 to 4 inches as well. So that's a little bit higher than the last model. But again, anywhere from 1 to 3 up to 4 inches for most of us, 2 to 4, in that sweet spot where that training was, especially in the south side. Here are the severe threats for a lot of the area. Damaging winds is a main threat. Hail is low. Tornadoes is low, but still that is a threat. Again, it's not as high as what they were seeing in the south, but could see a quick spin up. Street flooding is also a concern as well. Here's the flood potential through Monday morning. This is kind of like, the levels with the severe weather. This is 4 levels. You have possible, likely, very likely, and extreme. Right now, we're just in the possible flood potential for everywhere, except everywhere doesn't have that flood watch. But if you're on the south side, I would say you guys have that higher risk, especially, downtown, where the drainage isn't that great. If you're in an area, a low-lying area, or you just know whenever you get a rainstorm and that road floods, you have definitely a higher chance of that happening throughout the night tonight. So if you wake up early tomorrow, you head off to work, it's going to be dark because the sun doesn't come up until, past 7 o'clock now. So if you have to head out early, it may be hard. It's not only going to be raining, heavy downpours, but streets could be flooded in a few areas, especially if they're low-lying. So again, you just want to give yourself some extra time heading off to work early tomorrow morning. Here's a look at our tornado outlook throughout the rest of the day today. A 5%, this kind of shifted a bit from yesterday. We were more in the 2% range for a lot of us. But as of this afternoon, they shifted it to be a little bit higher, closer to Norfolk, Williamsburg, Tappahannock, down into Elizabeth City. And then really no risk at all for the very northern areas of the eastern shore. But again, overall, we have a chance to see a tornado warning or a quick spin up. So just something to keep in mind throughout the next couple of hours, especially overnight tonight. Here's our hail outlook. Not looking like it's going to be a big threat. If there was to be any hail, again, it'd be more out towards the west. Here in Hampton Roads, not looking like we're going to see much in the way of hail. Another thing, though, that you may have noticed, especially if you were out earlier this morning or earlier this afternoon, it is breezy. These are the sustained winds out there right now, 15 to 20 miles per hour from Chesapeake into Norfolk, 20 mile per hour sustained winds in Richmond, 13 in Virginia Beach, 29 in Duck, 23 in Edenton, 17 in Hampton. So it's a breezy day. Here are the peak wind gusts. And it's going to stay breezy and windy throughout the rest of the day today. We've seen gusts 43 miles per hour in Norfolk, 40 in Virginia Beach, 38 in Suffolk, 32 in Edenton, 26 in Manio. And again, it's going to stay pretty breezy over the next couple of hours heading into the evening, 30 to 40 mile per hour gusts. And that's not even, with the storms that are heading our way. Some of these storms, if they head into our direction, they're severe, or whether they're not severe, they could pack a punch themselves. So the severe storms, could have gusts 50 to 60 miles per hour. But even without the storms, it's windy with gusts up to 40 miles per hour. Heading into the overnight hours, calming down a bit in a few areas, but you'll notice Kill Devil Hills, Virginia Beach, Eatonton, 40 mile per hour gusts. Getting better a little bit overnight into early Monday morning. And then once that front kind of passes through, picks up a little bit. Wind shift out of the northwest. And then we're seeing gusts, 15 to 20, 25 miles per hour. And then throughout the day, kind of staying like that, 15 to 20 miles per hour. So here's kind of like the takeaway over the next, couple of hours into the overnight into Monday morning. Heaviest, most constant rain will likely be later tonight into Monday morning. Areas with training storms, so you're seeing heavy rain over the same area over and over, we'll see the highest rain totals. And then, you could get like maybe 2-3 inches more than the town 5 miles to the north of you because they weren't seeing that training. So again, it really depends on where that sets up. And just be ready for any warnings that could be issued. Because again, there's a chance we could see some severe storms later on and an isolated tornado warning. We're taking a live look outside right now at our Thompson Creek Window Company sky view. It's cloudy. The rain's coming down here in downtown Norfolk. Temperatures, we're sitting in the low 70s. It's warm. Winds are out of the south at 18 miles per hour. It's breezy, and it's going to stay breezy. And outside in Virginia Beach, there were a ton of people out there earlier this afternoon and this morning. I don't blame them. Seeing a few people out there right now. But yeah, now's the time to kind of just head back inside for the rest of the afternoon into the evening. Good book, good movie, good show. I know there are a ton of good shows out there right now. So pick one of those for the rest of the night and then, call it a day. And make sure you have a way to get alerts on your phone, of course. But here's a look at the radar right now. Once again, seeing some of those heavier downpours making their way into the area, seeing a bit of lightning up around the northern neck. The eastern shore, you guys are going to get into some rain in just a little bit. But if you're at the oceanfront right now, you're good for a couple more minutes, but you'll see some lighter showers moving in. No warnings out there right now. Just a little bit of lightning. Some of the flood advisories down to the south. But again, we're kind of getting into that on and off heavy downpour type of late afternoon. And then again, by the time we get late tonight, 8, 9, 10 o'clock, that's when we really start to see the heavier rain, more consistent rain moving into the area. And then as we take a look at, let's see, the temperatures out there right now, pretty much everywhere is feeling pretty good, except for the ones who got the rain earlier or who's seeing rain right now, getting those rain-cooled temperatures. 66 in Franklin, but it's 71 in Smithfield, 73 in Norfolk. We're looking at 71 in Newport News, 71 in Chesapeake, 58 in Wallops Island. It is chilly over there. 63 degrees in Manio, and looking at Wachapreague, you guys are in the upper 50s. 71 in Virginia Beach right now. No wonder why so many people were out there earlier this afternoon and this morning. Even though it was cloudy and a little bit breezy, you got to get outside if you can, if the weather's, feeling pretty good. 75 in Moyock, 72 in Portsmouth, 71 degrees in Suffolk, looking at 72 in Eatonton. Overnight tonight, again, we're going to see heavy downpours, thunder, lightning, possibly a severe storm, isolated tornado threat again. But we'll be in the upper 50s for a lot of us, especially in the south side. Got to watch out for the isolated flooding as well. Definitely a concern. We have that flood watch in effect until 4 o'clock in the morning for areas of the south side and the peninsula. So that includes, again, Newport News, Hampton, Williamsburg. The peninsulas, you'll be in the mid to lower 50s tonight, a few upper 50s, but everywhere is going to be seeing heavy rain. Everywhere is going to be seeing lightning, thunder. So it's just going to be, one of those nights where, it's not going to be the best. Taking a look at Monday morning commute, giving it a red light. Take your time. Heavy rain, thunderstorms, especially if you're earlier in the morning. If you kind of have a later commute, 9, 10 o'clock, you're kind of getting a little bit better. But if your commute is at 5, 6, 7 o'clock, that's when you guys could really be running into, some issues with hydroplaning or things like that. Not only is it dark, there's water out on the roads. And if you hydroplane one time, you know how scary that is. I mean, you lose traction and you're like, where am I going? It makes you want to have two hands on the wheel at all times. It happens to you once. And every time you're on the highway while it's pouring rain, you remember that time and you're like, all right, let me have two hands on the wheel. Temperatures heading into the afternoon will be in the upper 50s, maybe a few lower 60s out there, but things will be better for your afternoon commute or you're doing St. Patty's Day festivities. Things will be, looking much, much better. I'm going to go back to the radar out there right now. Once again, just to, recap with you guys about where the line of storms is right now. Again, Williamsburg seeing some heavier downpours, Gloucester, Saluda, Wakefield, Branchville seeing some heavier downpours. Again, not a lot of lightning out there with some of these rain showers, so that's some good news. But again, if you do hear thunder, you got to get inside. If thunder roars, go indoors. Even if you're seeing some rain and you're hearing some thunder, seeing some lightning, and it's not warned, it's still dangerous. Lightning can, be dangerous even if it's not a severe thunderstorm warning. So that's just something to keep in mind. Just seeing some lighter rain in areas of the south side, heading towards Suffolk, some heavier downpours. But overall, right now, things aren't looking, it's nothing we've never seen before here in the Hampton Roads area. But again, heading later into tonight and overnight, that's when we're really going to see that heavier, more consistent rain move into the area. So I'm going to go over the Futurecast just one more time with you guys. Again, the on and off showers, heavier downpours for the next couple of hours. But you'll notice the second line kind of merging with this other line as we get later into the evening. And that's when we really start to see, an uptick in the heavier rain for a lot of us from Richmond down into Murfreesboro, Elizabeth City, Norfolk. 9 o'clock, that's when we can kind of start to see maybe more of that training in areas of the south side. That's why that flood watch is in effect until 4 o'clock in the morning. So, if you see any flooded roads out there, if you're heading off to work in the morning, you don't want to risk it. You never really know, how high that water is. Best to find an alternate route, if you can. Heading into, midnight, still seeing heavier rain, lingering in the same areas, kind of like Manio up towards Richmond. That's why you guys are kind of on the lower end of some of those rainfall totals, just because you're not seeing, that more consistent rain through, hour after hour after hour. But again, as we get towards about 3, 4 o'clock, we kind of see that line shifting down just a little bit to the south. So Elizabeth City, Hertford, Manio, you guys getting in on some heavier rain, 4 or 5 o'clock in the morning. But again, it's going to be raining throughout the night into the morning, and then eventually things get better by the time we get into the late morning and early afternoon. So any plans, once again, things are looking good. We're in the mid to upper 50s, a few low 60s out there are possible, especially down in eastern North Carolina. But then we see that shift in wind direction and temps don't really get much higher than that. We'll be back into the upper 40s to low 50s by Monday evening, and then skies start to clear for Monday night. Here's a look at the 5 to 7 day forecast. We do have, again, the weather impact alert for the rest of the day today into tomorrow morning. Temperatures will continue to drop really throughout the day tomorrow, and then on Tuesday, things are looking better. Sunny on Wednesday. Still a little bit breezy on Tuesday, but we're back into the mid-60s on Wednesday. Our average high for this time of year is 60, so we'll be around that for the next couple of days. After today, back into the low 70s by Thursday. Our next chance to see some scattered showers. Once that cold front passes by, we drop a little bit below average into the upper 50s. And then next weekend, so far, is looking pretty good. 65 degrees on Saturday. And that's what we like to see. Warmer temperatures on the way. Sunshine, especially after a day like today or tonight, like what's gonna be, going on. So again, I'm just gonna leave it here. A chance to see, some strong to severe storms tonight. Just want a way to get alerts. Heavy rain. We have that flood watch in effect for a lot of us tonight, or for the south side tonight into the peninsula, up to 4 inches of rain possible. Again, leave it here on the 7-day forecast. We will be on at 6 o'clock tonight. Tim and I are here to keep you guys updated. We'll do a live stream again at 6:30. After the 6 o'clock, we'll be on again at 11. We'll be here through the night, just in case anything, happens, to keep you guys updated. Craig and Taylor will be in around 2 o'clock in the morning. Daybreak will be starting a bit earlier tomorrow, just to keep you guys informed. You're heading off to work, and they'll keep you covered throughout the morning on Monday. Then once we get into the afternoon, things are on the up and up. I appreciate you guys joining me today. And again, we'll be on at 6 o'clock tonight. Have a good one.